like this shit. Alright. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Shouldn't get dark, nigga, no light. Yeah. Told them we working all night. Hey. Niggas ain't listen, alright. Watchin' we step. Hey. Shouldn't get dark, nigga, no light. Yeah. Told them we working all night. Yeah. Niggas ain't listen, alright. Hey. Watchin' we step. Damn. Watchin' we step. Hey. Watchin' we step. Watchin' we step. Hey. Watchin' we step. Yeah. Watchin' we step. Word. Watchin' we step. Alright. Watchin' we step. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck on my way. I'm clocking in, won't take a break. What? Rappers talk crazy on socials. You fuck around and you get slapped in your face.
All right. You have to 9 already?
Since a little nigga
I didn't even share this.
Nigga Weasel Way. Got the mixtape right on the way. When it come to my moves, nigga, I hop out of
You dig that, CJ the Cannon?
Me and my niggas, we like to buy them new forces, wham and throw them away. Yeah, some noggin, moving cerebral, neural cathedral, got on my brain. We in the club, moving like animals, side by side 40s, making it brain.
Some of the greatest, nothing to play with. Y'all niggas hating, fuck what you saying. High up that bullshit you putting that dirt. Looking like Pookie, somebody lazy, nigga be working, putting in OT. Y'all niggas lazy,
everywhere.
You threw the ball, tripping intercepted, thought he was David.
This shit is different, we been official for a night. We was hopping the fences, no shots. We don't do all of this and free rock. This is everybody business. Get money, we don't stress on the bitches. Fuck one, end up like her sister. Passed off cause she like the assist this side nigga, but she got me the sister. Leave me a pocket, rockin' no pocket, watching big babies back in the mix. Talk to nobody, they talk about.
We good. Let's go. Ross.
Yeah.
How was your weekend? Oh, here's that part. There we go. I love when it plays music, even though it's not supposed to.
You gotta just start remembering that happens.
Dude, it happens no matter what I do.
That's actually a good song, so I ain't mad.
Yeah, I ain't mad either, man. Big shout out. Big shout out.
My weekend was good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Hey, a little bit of everything.
You know how it go.
Yeah, I know how it be.
It was a 3-day weekend for me, man.
Hey.
So I did quite a few things.
Good, man. Always good to get stuff done on the weekends, bro.
I had a good time.
Yeah, you know, I had a good time too this weekend. I get the feeling you and I, we spent our weekends in different places, though.
Yes, we did.
Radically different places.
Yes, we did.
You know, you were up here chilling and hanging out and doing your thing.
Birthday thing.
Hey, birthday. Shout out Catherine Collins. Happy birthday. Belated. You know.
And you were in Miami.
I was in Miami. Man, you know how trippy it is to like wake up in Miami and then like 7 hours later you're in Boonesboro?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy. It's like,
Yeah, that's wild.
how did I end up here?
That's wild.
Radical jump, man. I gotta tell you, man, we had an absolutely great time in Miami over the weekend. Big shout out to those who hosted it down there. Troy Wiggins, Coach Crow and company. They put on a heck of a show. Sean as well. I don't got his last name off the top of my head, but they did a great job. We had a great time. Let's do a bit of a recap of that real quick where we left off. And then we're going to talk about both semi-pro and flag football tonight. We're talking about everything. It's going to be a fun show. We got Matt Riddick watching. Oh, man. Hey, yo, that tournament in New Jersey this weekend. That's going to be legit, bro. And guess who's not going to be there? Won't be me. Someone's got to go live for that, man.
I kind of want to go just because.
You want to just go just because?
I was thinking, what was it, Saturday night, right?
Friday night. I'm a little preoccupied already. I got some personal business to take care of.
New
Joyzy,
Jersey?
yeah, Joyzy.
All right, we'll do semi-pro. We'll talk about that.
Let's do that recap, and then we'll get to everything else going on. If you want to chime in about anything and everything tonight, go ahead, click the link, the Zoom link. First of all, I want to give a shout out, though, Rob Lane for the New Jersey hanging on the wall, the new TBT one. TBT on the front. We'll flip the Blazer side when we do the tournament shows later in the year. But big shout out, Rob Lane. Much appreciated. Thank you, bro. It's an honor to have our own brand have a jersey made by Rob Lane. Man, he did a sick job too. That thing is awesome, bro. But yeah, what a weekend it was of semi-pro. You know what? Let's get Coach Crow in here to talk all about it. Mr. Champion himself, championship-winning defensive coordinator of the DMV Legends. They've been legit all year, bro. I've followed the Legends. They went 4-0 in games I covered this year. Just an awesome all-around team. Coach Crow, welcome to the show.
Hey. Ah, there we go. Got you. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much, man. Enjoying a nice night over here at the house. We're back in business. Semi-pro football just had their Super Bowl over the weekend, Crow. Let's do a bit of a recap of what went down, beginning with the first game.
Just had their Super Bowl over the weekend. There we are. I got you on my phone. Sorry.
You could, man.
Okay.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, Crow, what a weekend of semi-pro football it was. We had a great time down in Miami. Big shout out to all you all for putting that event together. Let's take a look at the first game we did. It was the Fayetteville Commandos 44, Western Pennsylvania Wildcats 19. This one got ugly as the game went on.
Wasn't expecting that. WPA Wildcats have been good for a long time. But I think what hurt them the most is that they were not able to have a season and they played an independent schedule. So in semi-pro football, independent schedules, they just don't work because you can schedule 10, 12 games, but if teams don't show up, end up with like they did with 4. And then what happens is you get to a team like the Fayetteville Commandos who had a full season, and they were just a well-oiled machine. And there's nothing what WPA could do about it Saturday. So, you know, big shout out to Ryan Bach. There's a quarterback, was the MVP. He really put on a show. I think he threw for, like, what was it, 4 touchdown passes?
He was killing it out there, man. God.
He lit them boys up. I think he threw for 3 and ran for 1. So, yeah, he lit those boys up. And big shout out to the Fayetteville Commandos. The coach, Allen, you know, he's been in the game for a long time, and Allen deserves this. So hopefully big strides for them. They're going to be playing spring football in the CFA as well this year. So hopefully they can take this and roll it into some spring action, and maybe they can win a league championship that way. But, yeah, great game. In my eyes, I mean, even though it turned out to be, you know, a little bit of a wide margin, it was a lot of scores, and it was exciting.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. That first game was a great way to start off the weekend. This second game, though, let me tell you, this was the game of the weekend. Richmond Tomahawks 20, Carolina Predators 14 was the final overtime. The game-winning catch in the back of the end zone. What a battle it was.
Yeah, you know, so we, 14-14 at the end of regulation. We rarely have overtime and Sunshine Bowl, but because of time and, you know, we have multiple games, we do college style overtime so we can get the overtime over kind of quick, you know, put them in scoring range and see what happens. And it worked out the way it was supposed to. We got it over pretty quick. And, quarterback Sid Bridges, he dropped back on that 4th down play, and they ran a crossing route where the outside receiver ran the post, inside receiver ran a wheel, and he managed to get enough space inside of the safety where he high pointed the ball and came down with the game-winning touchdown. What was his name? I can't remember. What was his name? Let me see. What was his name? Hold on, I'm gonna grab his name for him so I can make sure I get the names right. But yeah, the receiver was able to high point that thing, and oh my goodness, Akeem Brown. Yeah, he was able to high point the football, and honestly, it happened right in front of my face too. So it was very exciting. Really good for TV.
Yeah, that was
good for TV. Oh my God. And yeah, man, they the fans went crazy. The teams getting ready were getting crazy. It was just a great way to lead into our next game. So,
and our next game was a good one. Your team, the DMV Legends 29, Harlem Gators 18. How's it feel, Coach?
It feels great. Guys play hard. They deserve it. I mean, you know, our guys, you know, we didn't have a home game all year. And like I said, you covered our games. We're up more in your neck of the woods. We are a DC team, and we were playing out in Frederick, which is hour and a half away. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we didn't have a home game all year. These guys were road warriors, willing to get on the road, play anybody, anywhere. Adversity. We had one of our dear teammates, coaches, my brother, Harold. He passed away this year towards the end of the season after the championship. So we were dealing with that. So with so much adversity, so many reasons not to achieve, and these guys went ahead and kicked the doors down and got what we came for. Big shout out to Coach D and the Harlem Gators, though. Those guys play hard. That's a really good football team right there. Their passing game is outstanding. Those guys are able to really move the ball through the air. But I think, we were able to withstand their best shot and punch a few more times than they were able to punch. We had a dual quarterback offensive game plan where we used Mike Wilson and Jermaine Trader. And, those guys, that 1-2 punch was able to beat them on defense. And then our running game by Mike Roberts and Terrell Arrington. You saw the running game.
Mm-hmm. Y'all were vicious. Y'all were beating them boys up.
You saw the running game. And then I just want to shout out our two guys in the middle. We were really short on defensive tackles because everybody didn't make the trip. You know how these trips are. So we ended up with like 3 defensive tackles instead of our normal rotation. But Ronald Scott and Deion Matthews, those guys were Ironmen. They played every snap up into the fourth quarter, when we started to be able to rotate a little bit. Those guys really balled out and controlled that line of scrimmage. I think they ended up with negative yards in running. So like I said, I can talk all day about that game because that was my game. But at the end of the day, both teams played hard. Both teams represented themselves well. And fortunately for us, the DMV Legends were able to come out with the victory.
And congratulations again, Coach Crow. I want to say you all run undefeated this year, if I remember correctly.
You are saying it right. You are saying it right. So what we're looking at now is hopefully, the guy, we have rankings that will be coming out. There's another undefeated team in the country called the Brooklyn Seminoles. Too bad we are not going to be able to play them. So we're trying to see where the rankings end up having us. Hopefully we're one. We're one in the country. We played more games than anybody, and we got more wins than everybody. And then we're able to prove it on the field, on the big stage. So hopefully when pundits come out with the rankings, it's number one for the DMV Legends, So the guys earned it. We earned it. And I guess this is my college bowl game pitch for us to be number one in the country. But like I said, Brooklyn Seminoles are a great team too. And we'll just see what happens when they come out with the bowls. So we'll see. So
we shall see indeed. Day 2 kicked off at noon the next day with the Cincinnati Royals 12, Philly Venom 8, in a game where Philly had so many opportunities they just squandered. And it seemed like a game that felt like a blowout, but it was only a 4-point game. It's one of those weird games.
Yeah, it's one of those games when Philly watches the tape, they're going to be like, wow, we dominated this game. That's how they're going to feel. But then they didn't put the points on the board. And I think what happened with Philly is what happens to a lot of teams when they come to Sunshine Bowl. They dominated their season. They won their championship, and they expect that team across from them not to have that pride of a champion. They expect that team to almost maybe roll over for them. But what happens in Sunshine Bowl, you're playing another champion. You're playing another team with pride. You're playing another team that took the time, took the finances, took the effort to come to Miami and improve their worth. And I think what Philly Venom figured out this past weekend, unfortunately, was you got to play all 4 quarters. You got to play all 4. And unfortunately for them, it seemed like they only really played to their fullest potential for 1 quarter. And unfortunately, it wasn't enough. I think they kind of, they just felt like the scores are going to happen, and they didn't push that to the next level. I think we'll see Philly Venom again. I think we'll see them again. I think they got a good enough squad to make it back. But I think if we do see them again, they're going to come back with a little bit more preparedness. As far as the Cincinnati Royals, they took advantage. I felt like they were were the best team on the field that day, but they turned out to be the best team on the field because that's what the score says. And I think they're going to take this as, you know what, we got this one. Let's get a whole lot better so it's not that close next time. Let's put some more distance between us and the opponent. And the Cincinnati Royals, I feel like they're going to take this win as a stepping stone, and I think they'll be back too. I think that's another team that will be back. And they're going to want to defend and prove that, you know, maybe they were just having a bad game. Maybe the sun got to them, you know, and they're going to want to prove that. And I think they'll be back as well.
We look forward to seeing how they do next time around. Fifth game of the weekend, it was Sumter Sharks 40, Connecticut Fire 14. The Fire, oh my God.
Yes.
3 drives in the red zone, 0 points in the first quarter. Oh, that's devastating.
The Fire had every opportunity to win this game.
Yeah.
If you look at the score, 40-19, and the 3 drives in the first quarter where they could have put up 21 points, let's just do the math. We're talking about a tie ball game, overtime, maybe even enough momentum off of those 3 scores to probably win it. And they squandered it. They early turnovers, getting down on themselves. This is a game where I'm not going to say they had it. This is a game they had a great opportunity to win, and they just let the Sharks keep building momentum more after more after more. And then once the Sharks got rolling, it seemed like there was no stopping them. It was a really good competitive game. Like this, even though they won by 3 scores, it was more competitive than what the score says because the Fire was moving the ball. The Sharks were having issues. But like you said, when they got down in that red zone, it was turnover city. It was a couple other times where they were right outside of the red zone around 30 or 40-yard line where they could have got some scores and they turned the ball over there as well. So, and like they say, you're never going to win a football game turning the ball over 4 or 5 times. It's just not going to happen. Right. And Sumter Sharks, they just did what they did, and they did what they do. And, man, they really came on in that second half, and they just kept the momentum going. I think both teams were up to the challenge. It's just one team took advantage of his red zone opportunities. The other one, they just didn't. And Fire, they're a first-year organization based off of, they're a first-year organization, but, they're an amalgamation of a few teams that have been around a while. So there's some veterans there that know how to win in that situation. I just think that they just let it go. They squandered it. And like I said, the Sharks were just ready. They were ready. They looked good. They played good. And they were coached well. There were some coaching moments in that game where I felt like the Sharks really took advantage to really, put some things in order to pull ahead. So I really enjoyed that game. To me, that was like the second best game I feel of the weekend. And I'm looking forward to seeing both teams again. I really am. I'm really looking forward to seeing both teams again, and hopefully they can win their leagues and make it back next year.
We shall see. We shall see. A long year ahead in the semi-pro game. We'll get to that momentarily. But first, we'll wrap it up with the final game of the weekend. Carolina Thundering Herd 26, Tri-County Crusaders nothing.
Yeah, so this is, with Sunshine Bowl, we tried to get the matchup so we don't have any blowouts. In the sense of no team wasn't competitive, and the score doesn't lend to the competitiveness of this game. It's just that the Carolina Thundering Herd, they played in the 2A championship. When in actuality, if you look at that team, you've seen it, they're built like a 3A team. They have the size, the organization, the speed. They're if it looked like they should have been playing my team. Whereas the Crusaders were probably a true 2A team. So even though, we had that matchup, I think moving forward, even though, the Crusaders were competitive, they played hard, they caused a few turnovers to keep it respectable. I just feel like, the Herd won. They were the better team. But, moving forward, I think the Herd, if they're going to come to Sunshine Bowl, we're going to want to, they win their league. We're going to want to have them move up and play some stiffer competition. Maybe move up to the Sunshine Bowl, maybe to one of the 3A games. Just for the simple fact that, again, they've won that 2A twice. And, it's time to move up. I think you guys do it in the flag circuit. If you win the B bracket once or twice, you got to move up to A next year.
That's been the case the last few seasons, actually. Scorpions last season won B. They went to A this year. Before that, it was Second Gen, who was the only team to win B and A back-to-back years.
So I think that's going to be the issue with the Herd. Again, nothing taken away from the Crusaders. They played their butts off. They played hard. Then they played to win. It just wasn't enough. But again, Thunder and Herd, they've won the 2A 2 years in a row. It's time to move up. It's time to get into a stiffer competition. Either that be through a bigger league or, hitting one of the tournaments. Because at the end of the day, we want to see teams to be we want teams to be competitive, and we want teams to play where they're supposed to play. So, like I said, it was the right matchup based on what they did in their leagues and the season that we had. But at the end of the day, the Herd have proved that they can win that game with their eyes closed. Now it's time to move up, and that's okay. Be proud of proud of what they've done, proud of how they've grown as an organization, and proud that they are able to move up to the next level of competition. Because you got to start from somewhere, and they've worked their way to this level. So now let's move up, and let's see if you can get the Legends on the schedule. Let's see if you can get the Carolina Predators on the schedule. Let's see if you can get the RVA Tomahawks on the schedule. Let's see if you can get one of these, bigger teams on the schedule and see how you fare. But again, takes nothing away from them. They played excellent. They looked great, and they had a great game plan for what they, they wanted to do that on Sunday. So my hats off to the Herd, and my hats off to the Crusaders. I think they've seen where they needed to go, and I think they're going to be better moving forward.
And we'll see what happens this semi-pro season coming up, 2021. Crow, I know you're excited for it already. You can't wait to get back out there again. How are things looking on a semi-pro scene right now entering this upcoming year?
Well, of course, we're all still kind of dealing with COVID-19. 1 second. We're still dealing with COVID-19, but some things are really starting to take place. We got some great leagues coming out this year. Of course, we got the ECFA, the league that we were part of this past year. They're going to be doing their spring season. So that's coming up in March. We got the Coastal Football Alliance, which is a Del Zeta Boys League out of Carolina. They're going to be doing their spring season as well. And there's a few other great leagues that are out there. Of course, you got the FFA down in Florida, the Universal Football League. So all these leagues are starting to kick off if they haven't already kicked off. So it's looking really promising. As far as the DMV area, of course, some fields are open, some are not. And that's going to be a lot of people's issues. Like, can they get fields? Are they going to be able to play safely? And it really depends on that COVID rate in your area, your local area. Some areas are better than others. But I feel like there will be some spring football, maybe limited in scope. Maybe they won't get to 8 or 10 games, but we'll have some spring football. And we're definitely looking forward to that. So, and then at the conclusion of the spring season, of course, we're going to do our spring national championship games in July. I think we spoke about that on your last show, July 10th.
Yes, sir.
And 11th. So we're looking to do that. We got some plans in place. We probably want to do an all-star game with it, really bring out the festivities. So it's looking really promising. But again, we can't promise anything because, of the whole situation with COVID-19. But like I said, with people starting to get vaccinated, testing's a little bit more available, treatment's a little bit more available, and we know a whole lot more. I think things will start to loosen up a little bit. And, we'll be able to provide some good football for our viewers and our fans.
And we're looking forward to it. We'll see where our semi-pro journey goes this year in 2021. It's been a wild ride so far, beginning last August. And we ended up in Miami all the way from Franklin County. What a ride.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, maybe, next year, we learn some things, it was definitely a ride this year. I mean, especially with Sunshine Bowl itself. We usually play at one park, and they turned that into a COVID testing and relief site, which is great. Just kind of put us in a different setting, but we ended up at Curtis Park. Those people treated us excellent. The staff was great. The management was great. The city of Miami was great. They treated us awesome, and the park was very convenient to the airport, which turned out to be a great convenience for everybody. So, besides the planes going by every 30 minutes.
Oh my God, those planes, bro. Oh,
every 30 minutes. But again, beggars can't be choosy. And then the scoreboard going out on us the week before because of the storms they had down there. So, Murphy's Law, sometimes Murphy Law will get you. But at the end of the day, we made it work. And we had a great event. Another thing too, we didn't charge this year. We didn't charge. Usually we charge entry. We didn't charge this year. We kind of, it was just one of those things where, let's let everybody in. We were blessed with this facility. Let's let everybody in. We're able to get you down. So sometimes you just got to say, you know what, let's count these blessings. We got it in. And then hopefully, I took my COVID test today to get results back in a few days, but I feel like I'm going to be negative. So hopefully everybody gets their COVID test and make sure they're healthy and clean and got a clean bill of health. And then everybody can just move on and, and get ready for this great spring season we got coming up in all the different leagues. Like I said, I'm really excited to see who comes out on top, and I'm really excited about this the spring nationals. I mean, it's going to be the first spring nationals in Washington D.C. We haven't done that before, so being innovative and creative to bring out some new things and bring what the people want. They want to see spring nationals, so we're going to give them spring nationals.
This is going to be big. Like, you think about it, a mid-season or mid-year nationals, I should say, right after the spring season.
Mm-hmm.
Semi-pro, man, you guys are really stepping the game up right now with what you guys are doing. It's good for the players. It's good for the teams. And going forward, a lot of the chatter, Sunshine Bowl, is it going to be staying in February? Previous years, it was January. What's the status in the future of the Sunshine Bowl going forward?
So we talked about that today. The board talked about that today. Of course, you heard us talk about it down there. We ran it by the rest of the board folks, the members that were not, down there. They couldn't make it, and I think everybody is they're liking February. They're liking February. They're liking February. And we looked at the dates, and let me get the right dates because I knew you were going to ask me that. I come prepared, my friend. So what we're looking at for 2022 is the weekend of February 19th and 20th, because President's Day is on the 21st. So this is even better because now you don't even have to give up your Valentine's Day weekend. Because that was everybody's complaint this year. My girl's going to kill me. My girl's going to kill me. So now, for next year, for 2022, President's Day is on the 21st. That means we'll have it on the 19th and the 20th. You got your Valentine's Day weekend prior. No lip from the missus. You're good to go. So I think that's where we're going to be. And I think that's a real good look. A real good look for everybody. And I think it's going to work out pretty good. I think it's going to work out really good. It's going to be a great weekend. And one thing about doing it the President's Day weekend instead of Martin Luther King Day weekend is that it's much cheaper. It's a lot more, a lot more hotels are available. And then the other two bowl sanctioning bodies and the flag nationals are actually on that Martin Luther King Day weekend. So it's just so much going on that weekend. This weekend is us. We have the spotlight. Everybody's looking, and we don't have to share it with nobody.
And I think that's good for the game. I mean, you talk about there's a lot of guys we've seen that play both flag and semi-pro. And, that gives those guys an opportunity now to do both of them because they won't be conflicting on the same weekend. Because, it's tough going from one to the other like that, especially in different cities.
Yeah, you don't have to choose now. You don't have to choose. And I had a bunch of guys over the years that will be in Orlando, run down for a game, and then run back. And, it's like I said, we didn't do it for that reason. To start, we did it because we felt it would be better planning for COVID because of what's going on with COVID. But it ended up being the best thing that happened. Like, it started off as an inconvenience, it ended up being a blessing. So sometimes you just gotta, handle the situation at hand and not complain, and something's gonna come of it. I think we actually found our weekend, even though we've been 19 years on that same weekend. We found our weekend due to this situation. And I think, like I said, everything was focused on us. All eyes were on us. The stream, if we had tickets, it probably would have sold out the stream. The stadium.
We set a record high in live stream for this weekend. We peaked at 602 viewers at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Close to 30,000 views overall between both days.
30,000 views.
And 27 of those were that first weekend. People were watching.
Get out of 30,000 views. 30,000.
Yeah.
Quit playing with me, Joey.
I ain't playing. I'm not playing. Actually,
30,000.
Let me do a confirmation update. It might be more now. It might be more since then. There was a lot of people were tuned into this weekend. There was a lot of hype going on. The fans loved it. The players were loving it. It was a good time down in Miami, Florida. Let me do a double check on that. I'm pulling it up again. Counting it up. Yeah, 30,000 views. 30,000, man.
30,000 views. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They were loving it.
Dude,
That's
a very high. That's more than we get on Facebook for our shows.
30,000 views?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. I'm glad to see the game grow. This is good to watch. I
gotta post that. Send me the screenshot of the view ticker. Send me that. I gotta post that. That's gotta be posted. 30,000 views.
Yeah, we about there.
We can listen. And why if everybody doesn't understand why I'm so excited about 30,000 views, I'm excited about 30,000 views because 30,000 views equals, someone, the right person. I don't know who it's going to be, but that right person sees it. And that can even reflect into sponsorship dollars. We get sponsorship dollars, we can start lowering the cost of this. I mean, if we could just say, hey, come to Sunshine Bowl, pay your $100 entry fee. See, $100 entry fee. And then when you complete the game, we give it back to you, or something of that nature, where basically if we can make this as free as possible, if we could just lower these costs down and through sponsorship, $30, 30,000 views is a great selling point to say, hey, put your ad on this stream, put your commercial here, because 30,000 people looked at it last year.
And one of the unique things about Camerify, the app I use, I can run video ads on breaks, timeouts. So that dead air where the referees are talking about what's going on for 10 minutes, commercials.
Right. Oh, the referees won't want to talk about that one. But I don't want to get fined. But yeah. I mean, and it's good for you, Team Blunt Talk. It's good for everybody involved. We could 30,000 views. And like I said, I know there's probably more people, get more views on this and that. I get it. Whatever. Some people, 30,000 views is a drop in the bucket. Listen, last year we didn't have any views. So, right, we went live here and there. This time, 30,000 views, it means a lot to the semi-pro community. It means a lot to, a lot of these guys who've been doing this for a long time. So 30,000 views, love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. And like I said, we can clean up our act a little bit, make the stream a little bit tighter, make our, our commentator, he was a little iffy, that guy's squirrely.
Heard that commentator was trash.
We can here's the thing, we can get somebody in the booth with you. We can do a lot of different things and really, really push this thing to the next level. 30.
I'm okay with that. I've been saying for a while because I feel like I do need a second person for semi-pro games.
Oh yeah, well they're longer, and I'm saying you got the rosters and you need somebody to bounce some stuff off of. Like I said, we'll get better. This is our first year streaming. So we'll get better. And that's another thing, folks always want perfection on the first go around, man, maybe. But let's get better. Like, here's the thing: you grow with us, we grow with you, and we all grow together, and we put together a product that everyone can be proud of. And that's what some folks don't realize. You work with the people that's going to work with you. This is our first time doing this. This is your first time doing Sunshine Bowl. We learned a lot.
Yeah,
we learned a lot. We both learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned I need to eat.
Yeah,
that first day was brutal because I didn't eat all day. So we learned a lot, and yeah, I mean that's what we do. I mean, we keep getting it better. We keep growing it. We put the right people in place. Another thing too is we're gonna have our speaking of people in place, we're gonna do our ranking board tomorrow. We have representatives from the New York League, the MLF. We got representatives from the Carolina League, DC League. I'm going to try to get the Alabama League, Bernard on. Alabama, yeah. I'm trying to get Bernard on. Try to get Rudy coming in from the Midwest. And so we're going to do our ranking board tomorrow. And hopefully, like I said, we'll see what they say, see what the votes are. It's going to be open vote. And see what the rankings ended up being, see what the final rankings are. So this is our first time doing that as well. Usually they do like a mail-in vote. I don't want to do anything mail-in no more. We're gonna do a live vote, and so it's like every year we want to get a little bit better and make this thing a little bit cleaner. See, I'm so excited now for the spring national. We got 30,000 on that. We can probably. I want to double that in the spring.
I can't wait for spring national.
I want to double that. And when we do the broadcast in July, I want to double it. If we got 30 now, I want to work for 60.
60? All right, let's make it happen. This is going to be awesome.
And if we get 60 in July, next February, I want 120. So that's what I want. 120 views, 120,000 views by next February. That's the number. Now, if we fall short, we fall short. But if we fall short and say we got 30 now, say we fall short by like 30,000, we only get 90. Guess what? That's still great. That's 60,000 more than what we had the year before. So I'm just going to keep those goals in place, and we're going to do 60 in July. And next year, this time, we're going to do 120. That's what I want.
There you go.
And I can't wait for it. It's going to be a good time very soon, coming to a live stream near you.
Indeed, Joey. I know you got more show to do, so I don't want to hold you too much. Any more questions from me? Or
I think I'm good on my end. You got anything else to say?
Hey, good luck on your flag season coming up. You'll be hearing from me. You will have some semi-pro games. I'm sure of it. We got I don't know if we're gonna do nights, DMV nights, or we're gonna stay legends. We got to talk with the guys. We got to talk with the guys sometimes at the end of this week. If everybody doesn't know, the DMV Legends was basically made up of two really good teams. My team, which is the Capital City Seahawks, and my brother's team, which is the DMV Knights. We put it together, made the DMV Legends. So and we did that because of the COVID year. The season were all jacked up. So springtime is usually Knights time. Fall time is usually Seahawks time. But the guys kind of are talking about keeping it together as one. But we'll find out. Either way, you'll have some Knights games or Legends games coming up this spring. And I know you have some Seahawks games in the summer. So, or Legends. And it might just all be Legends. We don't know. It doesn't matter. It's going to be us. You're going to know the guys. And we're still going to try to dominate on the football field. So that's what it's going to be. But I'm still happy about the 30,000. You told me off with the 30. You didn't warn me about the 30,000. You didn't warn me, so you should have warned me. I didn't know. I am happy about that number. So that's it, man. And have a good rest of your show. And you know where to find me anytime you need me on.
All right, Coach. We'll get you on very soon. We'll talk some more semi-pro. Look forward to the upcoming 2021 semi-pro season. And you teams out there looking for a live streamer, I'm available all spring on Saturdays.
No, you're not.
Oh, here we go. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Right,
Crow, have a good night.
you too, boss.
Coach Crow joining us, and let's restart this stream real quick because I feel like we're on a mostly semi-pro audience. Our flag guys are probably like 30,000. They're like, that's a lot. They're like, we want to tune in now. I like it better together, man. As John Uri will say, coming up next.